Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome.
There's a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
As long as the Matrix exists, the human race will never be free.
Start somewhere. It has to start sometime. What better place than here? What better time than now?
Terrorists! Terrorize this.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.
Greetings, free thinkers, survivalists, awakening sheeple, and Wall Street occupiers. It is Monday, September 26, 2011, and you have found yourself locked, loaded with the real enemy in your sights here on the front lines in this war on our humanity. I'm your host, Darren Stone, broadcasting to you live from FEMA Region 1, and I'm joined this evening by Jihad Jules, just your average, freedom-loving, truth-telling American terrorist. Hey, Jules.
Hey, Darren. How you doing?
How are you? Tonight's call-in number is 917-889-3064. Let's get some calls tonight, okay? Let's get some calls, and I want to hear your opinions, your thoughts on the occupation of Wall Street. You can talk about other stuff, but I'd like to talk about that. Because, remember, kids, passing out from choking on tear gas as you lay face down on Wall Street is not the time to make your voice heard. So, 917-889-3064. All right. Rule number 3 or 4, limber up. I believe that's what it is. Just a forewarning to the thousands gathered around their laptops this evening on your smartphones for the program. It's going to be a mishmash of stuff, just so you know. So bear with me, and your input is appreciated. So tonight, what do we have for you? We have some Wall Street info. We have some green movement stuff. Is about all I can say about that right now. We have things falling out of the sky all over the place. I don't know what it is, but it's just stuff falling around the sky. And what else do we have? We have paranoia at an all-time high in the United States. So I guess we'll just get right into it. I have a nice clip for you tonight. So if I space out and don't play it, please someone remind me. It has to do with a trader on the BBC giving an interview today, basically telling you that Goldman Sachs runs the show, not your government, and the whole thing's going to come down. And if you're not prepared, too bad. So I'll play that at some point. Actually, you know what? I want to start off the show with Wall Street. Now, Jules, feel free to chime in anytime.
Okay.
Okay. I want to start off talking about Wall Street. I'm not even going to go into the plugs and all this other stuff. Besides this, I would like to get or see if there is any interest out there from any listeners or people that go to the website or the Facebook page if you have any interest on coming with me to Wall Street this weekend, I'd like to go down there this weekend. I feel like it's our duty to do this. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When I first saw the occupation of Wall Street, I believe it was being touted by the group Anonymous. Personally, I don't really trust the group Anonymous, and I'm going to tell you why. Is it cool? Yep. Looks pretty cool. Sounds cool. Anonymous. They utilize the V for Vendetta Guy Fawkes mask as a symbol. I love that symbol. I love the mask. But the reason I have my doubts about the Anonymous group are for two reasons. One, they support WikiLeaks. I hate WikiLeaks. I don't trust WikiLeaks. I don't believe WikiLeaks is a whistleblowing organization. And for the main reason, A, nothing's come of any of the whistleblowing that WikiLeaks has done. Two, you haven't heard about Julian Assange forever, right? Three, Julian Assange says that 9/11 was not an inside job, and it's ridiculous to think that it was. So that's all I need to hear. So any group, either Anonymous hasn't done their homework, and if you look into the group Anonymous, you'd see that they are supposedly pretty well organized, even though it's not supposed to be an organized group, to pull off some of the supposed hacking, hacking jobs or whatever you want to call it that they've done. They'd have to be fairly sophisticated. So I doubt that they really missed the memo on WikiLeaks not supporting the idea of 9/11 being an inside job. I mean, if Julian Assange wants to release some cables concerning that day, I might start to change my mind. But until that happens, I'm just going to throw him in the category of disinfo agents and distractions. And I'm going to put Anonymous in there too. The other reason I don't trust Anonymous is because when I hear Janet, the linebacker Napolitano, get up there and say that Anonymous is an issue, I'm sorry, but to me that just directs your attention to Anonymous. If they didn't want your attention directed there, it wouldn't come out of her man face. So those are the reasons I don't trust Anonymous. I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of people out there that like it, but I don't trust them. So that's where I stand on us. And that's where the whole, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's who was originally promoting the occupation of Wall Street, which just kind of had me sit back and just watch it since it first started. Then I started looking at the little bit of media that I saw, and it looked to me like a bunch of idiots. It really did. That is until I saw some footage from last night. What I say by a bunch of idiots is, look, no one's going to take a group of people beating on drums with, headbands in their hair and dancing in the streets as a serious protest against the international banking cartel. I'm sorry, but if any of you down there on Wall Street are listening to this, I doubt you are, but if you are, please, let's stop with that kind of thing, because nobody's going to take you seriously. I hate to say it, but if you want the middle class to stand up with you, you're going to have to stop looking like that. Now, I didn't see a lot of that in the video stuff I saw last night, but prior to this, I have. The other thing is, I heard Bob Chapman talk about the Wall Street occupation today on the Power Hour, and he kind of ticked me off a little bit. I usually like what Bob has to say. I mean, he's all right, but he mentioned that to him it looks like a bunch of communists and socialists, protesting on Wall Street. This due to the fact that I guess Bob saw someone with a T-shirt with a hammer and sickle on it. Now, what I need to say to Mr. Chapman is, look, Bob, let's take into consideration that you're probably seeing a 20-something-year-old with that shirt on. He really has no effing idea what the shirt means. To him, it's a buck the system kind of thing, I'm sure, and that was probably the intent. But I don't think we can judge the whole occupation of Wall Street on some guy's T-shirt as being a bunch of communists and socialists. Now, I know I just labeled everybody a bunch of weirdos with beating their drums and headbands and dancing, but I said that was prior to the footage I've seen since last night. I also read an article and posted on the Front's Facebook page talking about how the Tea Party has joined the occupation of Wall Street. Now, that scares me a little bit because, A, the Tea Party's full of shit, okay? They have no credibility. They did nothing at the midterm elections, and I wouldn't expect nothing more from them if any supposed Tea Party member gets in there. And who is the head of the Tea Party for the 2012 election? It's like what? It's Sarah Palin, right? Am I right? Am I wrong? I'm kind of right, kind of wrong. I don't know. But look, Sarah Palin voted for the Patriot Act. Sarah Palin is a globalist suck-up. So the Tea Party is really nothing more than just another waste of time. No Tea Party elected candidate is going to do anything different than anybody else has done. It's the bottom line. The system is broken beyond repair. No voting, no writing your congressman. None of that stuff is going to work. If you think that it's going to, you're wrong, and this is why it is our duty at this point in time to support what's going on in Wall Street. Look, even if you don't want to go down there and you're a member of the Front's Facebook page, I want to see Occupying Wall Street on your pages. You need to do this type of thing. This has to be pushed, and it can't be let go because eventually it will catch fire more. It's already looking like there are protests planned for this weekend in Chicago and Los Angeles and San Francisco. I haven't heard of any other cities, but in the financial district of those cities, supposedly there's going to be some protests breaking out. This is what we need. All of us don't need to go to Wall Street in New York. We can all go to our capital cities and protest the financial district there. Look, there's plenty of people out of work. There's plenty of people sitting around with their thumb up their ass right now. Now's the time to get off the couch and do something, okay? Because we're not going to win this sitting behind a keyboard and a microphone. We're not. Just not going to happen. Jules, any comment on my little tirade there about Wall Street?
I absolutely agree. I mean, I think in the very beginning, I kind of felt the same way that you did. You know, when I looked at it, I thought that I might like to go, but I wasn't really sure who was sponsoring it. You know, I saw lots of posts about people saying don't go because this is CIA. But now that it's gone on for, what are we on, day 9?
Yeah.
Day 8?
Yep.
You know, and it's still continuing, you know, even though there's been some bad press because they've been arresting people for no reason whatsoever.
Yep.
It's waking people up. I mean, I think if nothing else, it's starting to wake people up, get people mad, get people to start questioning what's going on. And, I mean, I agree. I think we need to support them. I think we need to get up and go do something.
Yeah, I mean,
if there ever was a time, right?
Yeah, I mean, what are we waiting for? You know, I mean, this is my thing with this whole, alternative radio movement. I mean, everybody I listen to on the radio every day, I should hear this coming out of their mouths. I should hear them asking for their listeners to join. I should be hearing, radio networks putting together, busloads. This is what we all talk about.
Right.
So unless we've all been, become conditioned to just sit on our asses and talk into our microphones for a couple hours, a week, like that's going to do it. It's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. So, this is, in my opinion, this is really put up or shut up time for the whole alternative radio and radio network movement. In my opinion, I mean, honestly, I haven't listened to Alex Jones in a while. I tried listening a little bit today to see if he was talking about the Wall Street occupation. I haven't even gone to InfoWars, so I don't even know if he's talking about this at all. Do you happen to know?
I don't. I also tried to listen to him today, and I ended up about 5 minutes in and turned him off.
Okay, yeah, that's about what happened to me. If anybody's out there that listens to Alex Jones, if he's not talking about this, then he is exactly what most people think he is. He needs to, there's a guy that if he wanted to make a difference with the amount of listeners that he has, he could actually do it right now. I mean, he could organize. He should be there, actually, is what he should be doing. He should be doing his show from there. I mean, if he is who he says he is, and I don't really think he is. I used to, but I don't think he is. That's the type of thing and that we need. So, we need, the next biggest, alternative radio network to organize. I don't know who that is, but and it needs to trickle on down, in my opinion. I'm just a, one-man show on Blog Talk. I put the word out on Facebook today. Look, if shoot me an email at thefront@live.com if you're interested in going. If we have enough interest, I'll rent a van, a big old van. I'm not driving though. Okay, I'm not driving it, so somebody else will drive it. And we'll load up from FEMA Region 1 and we'll head on down. Or, we'll jump on a bus. Whatever it will be. I don't really care, but let's get some interest going and figure it out from there. Basically, you can put it like this. You can either stand up or you can keep on getting screwed. That's it. And if you don't think you're getting screwed, well, you know what? This might be an opportune time. Let me play this clip from this trader on the BBC today, okay? He mentions he says the market will crash, but the market got cut off when I uploaded it. So that's what he starts out with. So check this out, you guys.
It's going to crash and it's going to fall pretty hard because markets are ruled right now by fear. Investors and the big money, the smart money. I'm talking about the big funds, the hedge funds, the institutions. They don't buy this rescue plan. They basically they know the market is toast. They know the stock market is finished. The euro, as far as they're concerned, they don't really care. They're moving their money away to safer assets like treasury bonds, 30-year bonds, and the U.S. dollar. So it's not going to work.
We keep hearing that whatever the politicians are suggesting, and admittedly it's all been rather woolly so far, isn't right. Can you pin down exactly what would keep investors happy, make them feel more confident?
That's a tough one. Personally, it doesn't matter. I'm a trader. I don't really care about that kind of stuff. I go with if I see an opportunity to make money, I go with that. So for most traders, it's not about. We don't really care that much how they're going to fix the economy, how they're going to fix the whole situation. Our job is to make money from it. And personally, I've been dreaming of this moment for 3 years. I have a confession, which is I go to bed every night. I dream of another recession. I dream of another moment like this. Why? Because people don't seem to maybe remember, but the 30s depression, the depression in the 30s, wasn't just about a market crash. There were some people who were prepared to make money from that crash. And I think anybody can do that. It isn't just for some people in the elite. Anybody can actually make money. It's an opportunity. When the market crashes, when the euro and the big stock markets crash, if you know what to do, if you have the right plan to set up, you can make a lot of money from this. For example, hedging strategies is one. Then investing in bonds, treasury bonds, that sort of stuff.
If you could see the people around me, jaws have collectively dropped at what you've just said. I mean, we appreciate your candor. However, it doesn't help the rest of us, does it, or the rest of the Eurozone?
I would say this. Listen, I would say this to everybody who's watching this. This economic crisis is like a cancer. If you just wait thinking this is going to go away, just like a cancer, it's going to grow and it's going to be too late. What I would say to everybody is get prepared. This is not a time right now to wishful thinking the government is going to sort things out. The government don't rule the world. Goldman Sachs rules the world. Goldman Sachs does not care about this rescue package, neither does the big funds. So actually, what I would actually tell people, I want to help people. People can make money from this. It isn't just traders. What they need to do is learn about how to make money from a downward market. The first thing people should do is protect their assets, protect what they have. Because in less than 12 months, my prediction is that savings of millions of people is going to vanish. And this is just the beginning. So I would say be prepared and act now. The biggest risk people can take right now is not acting.
Alessio Rastani, thank you very much for talking to us.
Do you dream about the economy at night?
I try not to.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
Yes.
18 minutes past 11.
And the corny joke at the end to wash all the fear away. Look, like she said, yes, it's rather woolly, okay? But hey, listen to that guy. He doesn't give a shit if the economy, quote unquote, recovers. It's all money making. And so this leads me to believe or to think, or to remember, I should say, let's all go back, everybody. Let's jump in the time machine and go back to listening to Barack Obama and George Bush tell us how we needed more financial reform so this never happened again, and we need to bail out the big banks on Wall Street in order to stabilize the economy. Well, we just had a big banker from Wall Street say, hey, we don't really give a shit if the economy stabilizes or not because we make money going up and going down. So where did all the bailout money go? Why was all the bailout money given? If they really don't care either way, which they don't. And that leads me to today. The stock market surges 270 plus points today. Based on what? I mean, based on what? We've had unemployment numbers increasing. We've had the announcement of QE3, more dollar devaluation. We have the global markets on the brink of collapse. We have the International Monetary Fund saying they need more money. I seriously doubt they do, but we'll play the game, saying they need more money. We have Germany on the edge of default. We have, we have the United Nations saying that the job outlook for the global job outlook is bleak for the next however many years. So, but the stock market surges today, 271 points. Well, there you go. I mean, if anybody doesn't see that, like the guy said, it's all rigged, it's all fixed. It doesn't matter about your economy, your silly little economy you live with. We make the money going up and down. So where did it all go? What's it all for? And this is the reason for the occupation of Wall Street. This is the reason to get behind this. All right? This is the time. Look, if we're misled on this occupation of Wall Street, we can co-opt it, okay, like other groups do to righteous protests all the time. We can co-opt it and make it what it should be. All right? Doesn't matter who got the ball rolling. Let's get on board. That's my take on the whole thing, really. I just, when I listen to that guy tell me that they don't care if the economy stabilizes, it's something I already knew, but there it is for everybody else to hear. And I'm on this message board prior to the show commenting on the occupation of Wall Street, and somebody writes a comment under my comment and tells me that that the people on Wall Street are just they're go-getters. They deserve what they get because they work hard for it. They get it. They're not a bunch of people on the street looking for handouts. I mean, I had to respond to the guy. I just, I was eloquent at first, and then I spiraled down into, caveman type mentality. But it's that kind of perception. I basically told the guy, please stop watching your television. It's hurting you, both mentally and physically. I didn't word it that nicely though. But that's how some people view this, because if there is any mainstream media about this stuff, that's how it's being portrayed, and that's not the issue, and that's not why people are there, or that's not why people should be there. So yes, I know I'm rambling, but what did you think about that clip, Jules?
I had not heard that clip. It was very interesting.
Yeah, just came. I think it came out off the BBC today, this afternoon.
What he didn't mention is how do you safeguard your assets? That's kind of what I was wondering.
Yeah, well, that's going to be, he's just saying, I don't think, my personal opinion on that, look, I'm in the stock market. I have been. My family has always been in it. I don't believe in it anymore. I've pretty much trashed my entire portfolio. But I deal with my financial advisor, or I used to deal with him, before he told me I was a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, he told me that. When I wanted to purchase gold at $730 an ounce 2 summers ago, he told me not to bet against the American dollar, Darren. It's foolish, and gold is just crazy. And here we are sitting at whatever it's sitting at now, even though it's plummeted in the last few days.
But yeah, it's still like $1,800.
Oh, God, I still would have doubled my money in 2 years, which is way more than he could ever say that any of his choices have done for me. Don't worry, I thanked him for that stellar piece of advice on my way out. I just, how you prepare for that? Look, I don't know. The average person doesn't know. This guy, he's alluding to the fact that it can be done, but for the average investor like you and me and It can't be done because people like him have an inside track. You know what I mean? If you're able to make money on the way down as well as the way up, you have a little something. Look, Warren Buffett is not a fucking genius. You know, he's a genius in the fact of who he's surrounded by. But he doesn't have this big crystal ball that allows him to just make these incredible investments, buy and sell at the perfect time, you know, all the time. You know what I mean? It's lunacy if anybody thinks that. So his you know, alluding to the fact that, oh, you know, you could protect yourself, all he had to say was one thing, right? Gold, silver.
Right.
That's all he had to say. So it obviously isn't quite that easy. And personally, I'm not even falling for the gold or silver thing. I think gold and silver would be great for a quick turnaround, like if I invested 2 summers ago. I really don't know about investing in precious metals at this point because I can't be sure there won't be a metal confiscation coming down the road. With the way they've cracked down on that guy, I can't remember the guy's name, that's been manufacturing his own silver dollars for years, and now he's in federal prison as of this year for being a terrorist and tried under the Patriot Act. To me, that's a bad sign. You know, I don't know if holding on to precious metals is going to be the thing to do. And that's why I haven't really thought that for 2 years, and that's why I bought stuff that I thought I would need.
That's exactly what I did. I didn't fall for it.
Yeah, I figured, what am I going to do? In a socio-economic collapse, here I'm standing with my bag of gold. Okay, here I am. All right. What do I do with it now? I don't know. Do I go to somebody and hand them an entire gold piece for some food? You know, at that point, can I really estimate the value of the metal I have in my hand at that point? You know, is it, you know, so all I could come up with was 2 things. Either I can use it for, you know, signaling SOS off a sunlit ridge, you know, or I can use it as a last line of defense and throwing it at somebody if they're trying to attack me. I mean, really, I don't know what else I could do with that crap in a situation like that. You know, if it was let's say if it was a smooth transition between you know, currencies. Like let's say the euro and the pound. Okay. You know, the UK didn't collapse when that happened. So, you know, a transition of currency or whatever, you know, with precious metals might be a great investment. But if we're talking all-out socioeconomic collapse, I'm sorry, I can't see the value in holding on to some gold coins. It just adds weight to my pack.
Exactly.
You know,
I actually saw an article this afternoon that I did not read all the way through, but there are rumors now that France is banning the purchase of gold by commoners.
Yeah, well, we've already had what was that? That law was passed here. No over-the-counter. There was a certain. I'm not going to remember it now. It was a couple months ago. Who is it? Who's the Kitco? Is it Kitco, like the big metal trading company or investing company? They put out a bulletin advising all investors and traders to have their precious metal trading, over-the-counter tradings wrapped up by like the end of July or something like that, because it was now going to become illegal. So that's just one more of those red flags. And the one you're mentioning, France. I mean, we're talking a global collapse, people. We're not talking the United States only collapsing. You know, I hope everybody understands that. It's not just us. You know, we talk about us because we all live here for the most part. But you know, now you see the wording trickling out. You know, global destabilization. You know, global financial meltdown. You know, and now you have the big banksters on the block, the IMF, who, you know, supposedly could bail out anybody at any point in time. Not that you'd ever want to be bailed out by the IMF, because you might as well take money from the Godfather at that point. Just ask Greece. Just go look at Greece, okay? For a modern example of the IMF's help and handouts, go look at Greece, okay? They've been taking the IMF's handouts since when? Last 2 years? Look at them. Look at them. They're still on the verge of default. They actually are defaulted. They're like where we are. It's just not official yet. You know, they haven't let the ball hit the ground. But they will. They will. So yeah, I couldn't, you know, I can't figure out what to do with gold. And that's what that guy, that's all he could have had to say. If he wanted to help people hedge their bets or find some type of safe haven for investments or some type of financial security in the crash that he said will happen. And he said within the next 12 months, many millions of people's savings will be gone. That's all he had to say. Get into precious metal. But he didn't. And that leads me to believe that that's not going to be a safe venue, and I don't think it is. But I'm just me. And to actually save yourself from the collapse, you'd need to really kind of be a guy like him in order to figure out how to do that. Most of us don't even want to take the time to do that. We just want to work, an honest job, make a good living, a decent living, so we don't have to struggle and suffer and just enjoy our lives. That's all we all want. You see, but they know that, and that's why they do what they do, because they're not like us. They're reptilian or something. I don't know. We had this conversation the other day, Jules. It's like, we talk about these people and how can they do these things, and when most people just want to be left alone and live their life, and I said, look, maybe they are aliens. Maybe that's why they're not like us. Maybe they just don't care about anything like us, like we do. Maybe they are different in a way. I don't know. I
don't know either. I mean, they obviously don't have to live like us. They don't need to go to the grocery store. They don't need to pay, car insurance and, do everyday things. But I don't think they care one way or the other because they own everything.
He said he didn't care.
Yeah.
He said we don't care. We don't. We're investors. We're traders. Traitors.
Yeah, I got that.
We're traitors. We don't care about the economy that all of you people who are listening to this show right now live in. Okay? It's what keeps you sustained. Okay? He's telling you, we don't care about that. I.e., there will be no recovery. I should even have to say that at this point, honestly. But there won't be any. It's just going to be the sucking out every last bit of wealth, money, anything of value that you have. I mean, look at the trade zones that are being set up in this country for China. Yeah. In Texas and in Wyoming. I mean, our government is allowing China to come in here, buy land up, pennies on the dollar. Now you may wonder why there's so much flooding going on, so many wildfires going on, or not that that's what's starting them, but letting them be allowed to happen. It's just like in the 30s, during the Depression, when people got starved off the Dust Bowl, and who came in? J.P. Morgan, right? Rockefeller. All these people came in. They bought up the Dust Bowl land, pennies on the dollar, set up oil rigs. Okay? We're being sold out. Okay? We have been being sold out. We've been set up for this whole thing. And so you look at the things like the trade zones for China being set up in this country, where, by the way, people go, well, hey, that's great. China's coming here and set up trade zones of hire American people. No, that's not what they do. No. They'll be they ship in Chinese workers. Okay? Because those people will shut the F up and do what they're told. They aren't going to be like, some of you uppity Americans thinking you have rights and shit. Oh, and by the way, in those trade zones, it's not U.S. law, people. No, it's China law. Yeah. That's where we all live now. Hey, I'm just saying. So how did I get on this tangent? Support the occupation of Wall Street. All right? Even if you don't want to, get off your ass and go down there, okay, and actually feel it. I promise you, if you go, you're going to feel it, okay? You don't want to go do that, then at least get your little index finger working and point and click, and at least get it into other people's brains about what's going on in there. And stop watching the NFL, for God's sakes. It's just ridiculous. I'm tired of it. I have a new name for the NFL. It's the NWOFL. Okay? The NWOFL. Because all it is a big propaganda organization that promotes the globalist agenda. They get sponsored by globalist defense contracting corporations. They promote genetically modified crap to throw down your gullet. Look, I love the game of football. I love it. I played it for 13 years. I love it. Okay? but it has nothing to do with the NFL. It has nothing to do with it. So stop watching it. I kicked it cold turkey. You know what? I don't even miss it. I go watch a highlight here and there, whatever. Look at Brady's man purse that he wears. That's about it. That's all. All right, sorry, I'm on a tangent. I'm sweating up a storm. Must be the KP index. Speaking of which, it's through the roof. Yeah, that's right. We'll go from Wall Street to KP. We can do that on this show. So, Jules, what's up with the KP index?
The last time I looked, it was at 8. Oh, and look, there's another one at 8.
Really?
The scale maxes out at 9, so that's pretty high.
All right. And we were discussing, we're not quite sure what it means, but I can tell you this. The sun's not out, and I'm up in my studio, and I'm sweating to death. I didn't get a chance to get out in the sun today. You said the sun was really hot today?
It was super hot, yeah, like burning.
Yeah, I've noticed that. And you mentioned that there's a big hole in the magnetosphere.
Yep, right over the U.S. at the moment. Yesterday it was a tiny hole over the Pacific. Today it is a huge open gaping hole over North and South America. Basically, the KP tells you that we're in a geomagnetic storm right now, right? So we had, on the 24th, we had that X 1.9 flare, and then it was followed by an M8 flare, so those are pretty large.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't think it was going to hit us, and then came back out and said that, well, we'd have a glancing blow. So right at the moment, I think it started hitting this morning.
Right.
So we're in it right now. Now, what that means, are we getting cooked with X-rays? I don't know, but I would assume that a KP index of 8 out of 9 isn't very good for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know. If anybody in chat happens to have any info on that, please, feel free to speak up. Or anybody wants to call in and let us know some info about KP. But yeah, and I've noticed that although I haven't seen the sun for, I'd say, out of the last 2 weeks, maybe 3 days, we've had some sun peek out. When it has, it's been really, really hot in the sun. Like hot. I don't know if it's because I haven't been in the sun, days prior to that, but it just feels unusually hot. And this brings me to things falling out of the sky. We have some things that have been falling out of the sky, right? We have you informed me today, which I'm really PO'd about. We have somebody who was working out in the Jomer in chat was working in an apple orchard. Good, that's good, Jomer. I like a little slave boy working out there in the apple orchard. So was it hot? Let me know how hot it was in the sun. Did you catch some rays? Did you get burned? Seemed hotter than usual. But you informed me that there was a green meteor that flew down the East Coast today?
Yeah, some people said it was blue. Some people said it was kind of a blue-green. But it was about 11:30 or so last night. People up in Quebec, Ontario, Vermont, Mass, and New York saw it. And then there was another report down south. I think it was from Florida to Texas. People were reporting right about the same time. I think it was about 11:40, 11:45. And then in Argentina, something blue fell from the sky, hit a house, blew the house up, wrecked 6 cars, and killed 1 person. So who knows?
Well, and okay. So things falling out of the sky, and we have Virgo. If you guys remember on this program 3 shows ago, my guest Francis, the astronomer, told us that we were going to have that planetary configuration happening that's described in the book of Revelations, where what is it? It's Virgo, the moon, the sun. I believe comet Elenin is part of this. Saturn and Venus, I believe, are all part of it. I posted up a picture of it on the Front's Facebook page. And that is taking place, actually that started today, I believe. I think that that planetary configuration started today and will continue through Wednesday, I believe.
I think I read it actually went through the 29th.
Okay, all right.
To the 29th, but what was interesting, because we talked about this earlier, and neither of us knew much about the Bible.
Right.
So I read up a little bit, and one thing I thought was interesting was that the 29th is also Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish holiday, and during Rosh Hashanah is when the quote-unquote rapture is supposed to happen. And the rapture was supposed to happen at some point during this alignment. Now, I don't know how true that is. It was something that I read about an hour ago, but I thought it was somewhat interesting.
Huh. All right. Well, so we could have a rapture?
We could.
Okay. Well,
who knows?
Yeah, they said we won't know when it's coming. It's not like I'll be going. It's not like I'll be chosen, which I think in itself is really kind of silly. I mean, come on. Why should I not be chosen? I'm a good guy. I haven't screwed anybody over just because I don't. I had this talk with some religious people this past summer at a party, and it boiled down to, they said, well, basically, yes, you have to submit on your knees to God in order to get his love and be raptured out. And I said, well, that sounds really stupid, so I'm not going to do that. Why would any knowing, loving, caring God request anybody to submit on their knees, wholly to them? It seems like a little bit of a power trip to me. I don't know. All right. So, all right, I have some other stuff. We can skip all around tonight. We're going to. People, I had zero preparation time tonight, if you can't tell. So, doing our best. But I have this, speaking of New York and what's going on there, if you guys have seen some of the videos showing the protests on Wall Street, I don't know how you can't get angry looking at that. I don't know what goes through their heads when they're in these mob control situations. I can see in certain circumstances, the need for it. Look. Well, this brings me to, I got to stay on target here. Because I was going to say, I can see when, say a sports team wins and people go flip cars over and burn them. I can see, look, get the cops out there, smack those idiots around. Really, honestly, if you're that childish that you have to go riot because your team won or lost, or start fighting with people who like another team, then, you really need to check yourself. You really do. You need to go look in the mirror and just look at yourself and say, what the fuck am I doing, really? Is it that important? So, the cops want to do that to people. Okay, look, I can almost justify it in that case, even though it steps all over people's rights. But when I see the people standing up on Wall Street for the things that they're standing up for, and the things they're standing up for is they're standing up for these officers. These guys, I don't know if they understand that. I really don't know if they get that. And I look at how they treat some of these people, women, weak people. I never see them picking on somebody that looks like they can take care of themselves. I never see that. I see them grab a woman out of the crowd by her backpack, drag her through the street, kneel on her neck, things like that. 4 or 5 of them around her with their black leather gloves on and their body armor and stuff. I mean, if that doesn't look like a bunch of Nazis, I don't know what does. It certainly doesn't look like a free society, that's for sure. But you got to wonder. I read an article. I read an article about one of the latest police forces out west launching their new blimp. And the chief of police, or the whatever he is, the commandant out there, is saying how cost effective it is, how cost effective the blimp is for police work. And then I got to think about the guys in New York. Look at all the surveillance technology that's been installed in New York in the past 2 years. Look at all the crap they're loading up New York with. Now I got to look at those cops, and if I get to Wall Street, I'm gonna talk to cops directly, which may not be a smart thing to do, but I'm gonna be very non-threatening. Look, I'll pick and choose my battles. If I get hands on me or get attacked, I don't know what'll happen, but I know what'll happen. I'll fight back, and then I'll get outnumbered and killed. But that's what'll happen. But what I have to say to this, guys, look, don't you guys get it? All the surveillance, this is cost effective, okay? Your pension and your pay rate is not. That's not cost effective. So if they can replace you with technology, they're going to. You have no job security here. Your kids have none. So I don't know what these guys are thinking, and you can see the look in some of their eyes. You can see, some of them look a little doubtful about what they're doing. And then you see the look in some eyes where that guy's too far gone. If it came down to it, he'd have to catch some lead, honestly, because I don't know if people, you can see the look. It's a look of disdain, of hate. You can see it. Anyway, I don't know. So I look at these guys and I try to figure out what's going on in their heads and what they must be thinking, if they're thinking anything at all. And that's why I feel like we need to get more of middle class type people down to Wall Street or in the financial districts, because like I said, it's going to be easy for some jackbooted, juiced up, I don't know, conditioned cop to, grab some hippie type person, some quote unquote weirdo, and smack him around without really feeling like, he's doing the wrong thing, because he can justify it, because he's going to look at this person as like a dredge of society or someone that doesn't, benefit society or give back in any way, shape, or form. Even though that might be true, I'm just saying what it may appear like. I think it's easy for them to justify that. So if we get more people that look like them, that have job pay scales like them, that maybe work for the city like them, that are unionized like them, maybe they'll start to get the hint. Because look at it, everybody. That's the line of defense. Can you imagine if NYPD or the majority of NYPD got it, understood it? What if they just stepped aside and let the crowd go right into Goldman Sachs, go right into the New York Stock Exchange? Do you know that you want to see fear? All those people toasting their champagne on the balcony and taking pictures of the people protesting them, you would see that I think you would see fear that you've never even have seen in eyes before in those people. They're looking down on those protesters and those cops laughing. They're laughing at both of them. Those cops are being laughed at. They're not on the winning team like some of them think they are. Imagine that. Imagine if we could get through to the police, And that's why, one thing I've heard on Patriot Radio over the years is, you got to get in touch with your local sheriff. You got to get in touch with your local sheriff. You got to get down on the local level with police. It's true. You do. You have to. You got to talk to local cops and see where their head is at. And if their head's not in the right place, you got to do your best. I know it's scary because you put yourself out there with the law, and then they can, go in your Facebook and go look at your online doings and profile, and they consider you a threat and come get you under the guise of the Patriot Act. That's we live in America. That's what can happen now. But it is true. We need to get police on the right side. We need to. You won't get all of them, just like you won't get all the citizens out there on the right side. But look at the protests on Wall Street and imagine if those police let people through. Imagine if they weren't there throwing people around. Imagine if they allowed the people to enter those doors. What would happen? Jules, what do you think would happen?
I think it would be awesome. I think it would be kind of messy.
it's going to be messy either way. There's no way of getting around that. You know, and I understand that's what people have fear of, but it's going to get messy either way.
I mean, the one thing I can say, the video that was going around this morning with the chick who was pulled by the hair into the street, you were saying about the looks on their faces. I mean, I was kind of yelling at the video as I was watching it. And the one thing that I kept saying is, don't they realize that their pensions are at risk? And then that woman started screaming that at them. And you caught the one young cop who was kind of standing in front there. He had this look on his face like he got it.
Yeah. That's why I said that. Yeah. You can see it in their eyes, you know. And there's some. I don't know if we're in that same video there was a cop videotaping the crowd, and he had a smirk on his face. You know, that's the kind of guy that will never get it. That's the kind of guy that would gladly take any chip, any drug to make him a more aggressive enforcer that his department wanted him to, and would consider himself being on the winning team because he has the ability to use force. You know, you're not gonna change everybody's mind, but yes, I know exactly the cop you're talking about. And yeah, he was looking around like, maybe I'm on the wrong side of this orange net. You know?
Now, what was your take on the biological chemical unit hanging around there yesterday?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I don't know if anybody saw that, but Jules had posted up this video of chemical and biological warfare response team or something like that?
Something like that, yeah, from Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah, and they said, and these people are all gathered now at Wall Street. They're not in armor or anything like that. They're in like khaki pants and black shirts. And when questioned about why they're doing it, now there was a lot of them there. I saw probably 30.
Yeah, at least.
Okay, at least 30 of them there. And when being questioned as to why they were there, they said they were just taking a walk and happened to stop by.
And sightseeing. Right.
What
I thought was kind of odd, though, is if they were sightseeing, why were they being so chummy with the NYPD?
Yeah.
You know, they were sitting there having conversations, laughing, haha.
Sure, and they weren't being rounded up.
No.
Right? They were standing on Wall Street. Well, I don't know. We can really only speculate as to why those people are there, but I guess if something happens with biological or chemical, we'll know that it was pre-planned, premeditated, which I'm sure it is. I've heard a lot or seen a lot of rumor saying that it appears that tear gas will start being used soon.
So take N95 masks?
I was thinking about it. I really was. If I go, I was thinking about taking my mask. But then I get worried about, okay, what if my bag gets searched? Will that be confiscated?
Oh.
You know, then I need a new one.
Stuff it in your pocket.
You know, I don't know. I don't know, but I was definitely thinking about bringing him. So, yeah, good point. Thank you for bringing up the biological and chemical weapons division, I guess. And the weird thing about when this guy was being interviewed, he didn't cop to it at first. He was like, he was kind of saying they were a privatized organization, but funded by DHS. Is that what he said, or did I get that wrong? Or was that just straight up DHS?
Yeah, I don't think that he actually ever said that he was funded by the feds, but the person that was taking the video had actually asked him 3 or 4 times, and at one point he agreed that he was paid by the feds.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, I don't know. It's either way, it's a bad sign. It's another bad sign. We're all about signs here, man. Looking for signs. Because, hey, after the fact, you can always look back at the signs, But to me, it takes somebody with a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Balls. To say, hey, that might be something. I don't mind sticking my neck out there by saying that might be something,
Right.
Because hindsight sucks, Anyway, all right. So, keeping on theme with New York and NYPD, they now brag about the fact that they have the capability to take down a plane.
Yeah.
And I just got to say, I'm just going to just tell you guys how they plan on doing it if they had to. Now, it's just so ridiculous. NY Commissioner Ray Kelly, I guess he was this in a 60-minute interview, I guess? Yeah. He reveals that the department had developed the capability to take down a plane, and law enforcement sources tell NBC New York that this would be done by rifle from a helicopter. All right. So, okay. I'm pretty sure planes can take some flak. I don't know what kind of plane they're talking about or what they think they're going to need to take down a plane for or why this even came out of Ray Kelly's ass on 60 Minutes. But it's funny. He says, NYPD helicopters are operated by a pilot and a co-pilot. In an emergency, a third member can be on board with a .50 caliber rifle. The weapon, which would be attached to a sling with a slide door open on the chopper, could be used to disable a boat on the water or a small aircraft. Yeah, I guess that would be true, as long as no one's going to shoot back at you as you're standing in the open slide door with your rifle. It's just this whole thing of being prepared to take out aircraft or boats with a .50 cal from a New York helicopter, from a NYPD helicopter, seems kind of ludicrous. And the other thing is, why make this announcement now? Look, hey, Mr. Kelly, if you guys have had a helicopter in your possession, okay, which I'm sure they probably had for a number of years now, and had some .50 caliber rifles in your possession, which I'm sure that they've had for a number of years now, why all of a sudden now are you on 60 Minutes beating your chest saying, we now possess the takedown capability?
Do you want to know what my take on that was?
Of course. That's why I have you on.
He had said that in regards to not trusting the federal government to be there if they ever needed to take down another aircraft. That was at least the article that I read.
Okay. Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Was his wording if they had to take down another aircraft? Because I'm wondering which aircraft they had to take down before.
Right.
Could that be the one?
93?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I mean, the fact that 9/11 just passed recently, he admitted that they've had this for quite a number of years.
Right.
But I don't know why he would come out and say it now unless, there's been a credible threat, which I thought there was, where they were thinking, that we were going to have planes crashing into things again. So maybe he's just trying to tell the quote-unquote terrorists that that's something you don't want to try in New York anymore.
Well, look, Jules, I mean, come on. Everybody knows Al-Qaeda has a huge fetish for aircraft. I mean, yes. If you're going to wage war on the infidels and all the freedoms they enjoy, you are going to continue to use the avenue with the most security in it, which would be the airlines and aircraft. I mean, you definitely wouldn't drive a van full of, explosives into a busy rush hour intersection, let's say in the heart of Manhattan or on the GW Bridge or, in the on I-95 near D.C. or, any of these famous congested arteries at rush hour. You wouldn't do that completely undetected to cause fear throughout the infidels. No. You would continue to try to breach security through the airline industry.
Right.
Because, you're an integrated terrorist network. You can conduct cyber attacks. You can overtake airlines. You can really, I mean, Al-Qaeda's reach is limitless. Limitless. There's no limit. No limit to what Al-Qaeda can do. That's why they're such a useful tool for the globalist agenda. They do everything from windows to dishes to destabilizing nations to attacking free peoples everywhere. Whatever you need, they can do it all. They're the Middle Eastern version of Blackwater. All right. So moving on a little bit. Let's get on to some more ridiculousness here in Candyland. Obama, this is something that I when you're looking at environmental issues, and you're looking at the push for green and how some people think they'd be better off dead so they weren't, traipsing their carbon footprint all over the countryside, killing Bambi and polar bears, for breathing. Never mind the fact that, all the green plants on the planet that provide oxygen for you to breathe need you to exhale. We're not going to get into that whole cycle of life thing because that's just a conspiracy theory, obviously. So let's deal with facts, okay? We're going to deal with facts. Look, it's all of our duties to make a better planet, okay? All right? Now, this is serious, people. It's up to us, okay? It's up to us to curb our carbon output, all right? Because if we don't, we're all going to die, okay? Listen, I know Fukushima is emitting massive amounts of radiation throughout the atmosphere, into the ocean's waters, and into the soil of crops throughout the world, okay? All right? But that's not the issue. All right? Look, I know the Macondo well is still leaking oil from the fractures in the Gulf, in the seabed of the Gulf, because BP, with permission from Washington, decided to poke a big oil zit when it got big enough for them, and boy, did that whole thing go awry. And I know that the fact that there's Corexit in the water, in the rain, in the air, there's Gulf sickness, and there's depleted uranium all over the Middle East, and we have, Gulf War syndromes, and we have cancer rates through the roof. Look, that's not the issue. Okay, that's not what's killing the planet. It's me and you exhaling and using our over-the-counter inhalers. That's right. Obama administration set to ban asthma inhalers over environmental concerns. Yeah, that's right. Now, I'm going to try to do this without snapping the fuck out. I'm going to try to get through the article. Remember how Obama recently waived some new ozone regulations at the EPA because they were too costly? Well, it seems that the Obama administration would rather make people with asthma cough up money than let them make a surely inconsequential contribution to depleting the ozone layer. Asthma patients who rely on their over-the-counter inhalers will need to switch to prescription-only alternatives as part of the federal government's latest attempt to protect the Earth's atmosphere. My God, the big brains in Washington never cease to amaze me with the incredible depth of intellect they display on a daily basis. I mean, why? Let's not. Whatever you do, don't make sure that the people who manufacture the over-counter inhalers make them quote-unquote green. No, let's not do that. Let's force the consumer to go for a to be forced into a prescription only inhaler. Let's do that instead. Let's do that. So what does this mean for the inhaler manufacturing industry, which I know absolutely nothing about? If anybody out there has a over-the-counter inhaler, could you please call in and tell me who makes it, or put it up in the chat room? And is it an American company? Is it a multinational company? Because I can tell you how it'll benefit or fuck up either one, whichever one you want. Regardless, we're going to stick to the consumer part of this article and how you poor people with asthma, which I happen to used to have. I had it when I was a kid. They say that you grow out of it. I guess I grew out of it. Almost the same way where you grow out of a two-party system and that whole belief thing. Kind of like when you grow up a little bit. It's going to, the increase in, what's the word I'm looking for? The increase in, it has to do with breathing. You see, this is where no prep time comes in. What is it? It's a job in the hospital. It's for breathing, respiratory therapist. Okay, there we go. Respiratory. The respiratory issues have skyrocketed in the past decade. Okay. The the respiratory issues have skyrocketed in this country almost to the point where they had to create a new job called a respiratory therapist. That's how bad it's gotten. Let me hold on. We have a comment in chat. Okay. All right. So Jomer in chat says that all inhalers going to prescription is a good thing because it means that insurance will pay for it. And before that, people had to pay full price for the inhaler. Well, I'm just going to take a guess and just say it's not going to quite work out that way. But call me a conspiracy theorist. Let's finish with the article before I get into the reason we have so much asthma. So there. So the reason is, and look, and Jomer in chat, it's not the fact that they're not doing it for that reason. They're doing it for the environment, okay? So it's not, look, if it was going to be part of the, Obamacare plan and to show you how great that was for everybody, they'd probably be patting themselves on the back and touting that. But no, it's for environmental reasons. The Food and Drug Administration said Thursday patients who use the epinephrine inhalers to treat mild asthma will need to switch by December 31st to other types that do not contain chlorofluorocarbons, an aerosol substance once found in a variety of spray products. The action is part of an agreement signed by the U.S. and other nations to stop using substances that deplete the ozone layer. A region... What do you think Fukushima is doing to the ozone layer? What do you think bombing nations is doing to the ozone layer? I don't know, but I'm sure it's nothing in comparison to little Sally's over-the-counter inhaler. But the switch to a greener inhaler will cost consumers more. Epinephrine inhalers are available via online retailers for around $20, whereas the alternatives, which contain the drug albuterol, range from $30 to $60. The Atlantic's Megan McCardle, an asthma sufferer, noted a while back that when consumers are forced to use environmentally friendly products, they're almost always worse. Let's see. And she goes on to state some things here. The environmental industry also knew how to make low-flow toilets, which is why every toilet in my recently renovated rental house clogs at least once a week. They also knew how to make more energy-efficient dryers, which is why even on high, I have to run every load through the dryer twice. They know how to make inexpensive compact fluorescent bulbs, which is why my head hurts from the glare emitting from my bedroom lamp. And they also knew how to make asthma inhalers without CFCs, which is why I'm hoarding old albuterol inhalers that, unlike the new ones, A, significantly improve my breathing, and B, do not make me gag. So, there you go. All in the name of Bambi. It's going to cost you more, right? Let's just not make them cheaper all the way around and available to everybody. Let's force you to take time out, drive to the doctor, get a prescription, drive there, wait in line, take your time, and get your inhaler. Also, polar bears don't drown, and all the while shutting off radiation monitors throughout the country and Canada as Fukushima douses us in radiation, and going down to the Gulf and eating shrimp and posing for photo ops nowhere near the Gulf and saying you were in it and saying everything's fine. Those are the things that aren't hurting the environment. It's inhalers, people. It's inhalers. The only thing green about the green movement is money. That's it. Not the earth, just money. That's it. Jules, do you have any comment on the on that whole inhaler thing?
Not really. I mean, it's all about money. I absolutely agree, and I don't see how, causing people to drive to the doctor and then drive to the pharmacy is going to help the environment. I mean, now you need to make an extra trip to and from the doctor, right? Yep. Use more gas.
Yep.
I mean, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, the one thing I did see is that the company that makes the over-the-counter inhalers is actually asking the FDA now if they can make a new version of it that no longer has chlorofluorocarbons, but that won't be until after they've discontinued the one that's currently on the market.
Well, look, regardless of what happens to this, my whole point is not to get up here and bitch about inhalers. It's to just point out the line of thinking, as far as any type
ridiculous.
of right, as far as any type of environmental movement goes. It's the line of thinking. It has nothing to do with the environment. If they were truly concerned about the environment, they wouldn't have bought the rights to the electric car and smashed it up into a pancake and buried it out in the desert. They wouldn't have done that if they really cared about the environment. None of this would have happened. If they really cared about the environment, we could be, instead of bailing out Wall Street to the tune of however many trillions this has gone on for, we could be, implementing solar, generators in communities, or maybe even house to house, or maybe even, allowing people to run their homes almost totally off solar if it applied in their area, and not having it cost them $1 million to do it, or in my case, $73,000. And I still would be subject to regulations on my converter for my solar system, and the price of having to buy one. I think it was every 2 years or something like that, or 3 years, at $5,000 a pop now. Never mind factoring in my devaluing dollar and dwindling wages, which is another aspect to look at as far as buying anything, including inhalers. People who say they can't afford them, don't go crying, don't go running to the Godfather for the handout if you can't afford it. Go get your ass down on Wall Street so you get some value to your currency back. Maybe that would help, instead of going, well, I can't afford it. You're not going to be able to afford shit. You know what? I guarantee, like the trader said, 12 months from now, you probably won't give a shit about not being able to afford your inhaler. You're going to be worried about affording some food. Never mind an inhaler. And that doesn't even and the food thing isn't even subject to only the devaluing dollar. Look at the crops that have what they've gone under this past year. Look at the food supply in the world. I mean, I don't think the farm belt in this country is going to be ready for action next growing season yet.
Yeah, I actually just had a conversation about this last weekend. I mean, I think we're in big time trouble.
I do too.
Crop failures all over the planet, not just here.
Right.
I mean, if you want to keep your investment, cash it out and go buy some food and stash it. I think that's a good investment.
Yeah, I do too. Look, I mean, it's crazy, right? I mean, the whole storable food thing is such a crazy thing when people, they think that you're crazy for doing it, yet they pay their car insurance and their homeowner's insurance every single month, and their health insurance. And you pay all those insurances in case something happens. Well, guess what? You're still alive if your car gets wrecked. If you're going to collect on that insurance, you're alive to collect on the insurance and you get a new car. Okay? Your house burns down, you're still alive. Okay? You're not alive with no food. But yet people think it's crazy to buy an insurance policy as in the form of storable food. That's crazy. It's the whole wacky American psyche we're dealing with here, where we just think nothing can go wrong here, nothing can happen here. Yeah, it's a little bad now, but it'll never get worse because we're American, Yeah, we're American. Free and brave, everybody. Free and brave. Yeah. Well, talking about price gouging on hay. Yeah, sure. You're gonna see price gouging on everything. Oh, so we had a listener send me a message. Primatine Mist, Armstrong Pharmaceuticals, Roxbury, Mass. All right, now hard to say. Okay, this is an inhaler manufacturer. Now, what will this do to Armstrong Pharmaceuticals in Roxbury, Mass? Will this cut into their bottom line, forcing them to possibly lay off workers? Will it lose more American jobs? Are the companies that are prepared to go bigger, according to the government's requests, and invest the money into their company to start manufacturing these inhalers, will they be able to keep up? Because we know corporations like Merck and Glaxo and people like that, they're going to be able to roll with it no matter what. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they were the ones pushing the legislation, because that's usually how it goes. But so I can't really comment on Armstrong Pharmaceuticals out of Roxbury. I don't know how big they are, but anyways, thank you, listener, for giving me that little tidbit of info. I was wondering if it was an American company or a foreign company that made your particular inhaler. We have some more paranoia on the streets. I just want to bring this article up, you guys. This is how delusional and how racial things are getting unnecessarily, which is going to lead me to Barack Obama's y'all statement. I'd love to see that asshole say y'all when he's in the United Nations, or hey y'all when President Hu from China, comes into the White House as Obama's licking his shoes. Hey y'all, welcome. No, he saves y'all for when he's talking to the Black Caucus. Hey y'all, just like you. Patrons mistake ice cream shop mascot for KKK robes. Are you kidding me? Americans cannot tell the difference between an ice cream cone and a Ku Klux Klan member. It's the point, people. It's the point at the top. That's what's throwing them. Okay? This is a little story about the owners of an ice cream shop called Ice Cream Family Corner and Sandwiches at the busy intersection of South Pine Avenue and Southwest 17th Street. Where is this? Where is this? I thought this was down south somewhere. Okay, I don't know where it is. Nope. All right. But anyway, the owners of this ice cream shop, their business is taking a hit because passers-by have mistaken their white hooded ice cream cone mascot for a KKK protester. Does that mean the person's protesting the KKK or they are promoting the KKK? And this is the whole problem with passers-by. The KKK is not going to dress up in a robe, not one member, and go out and stand on a street corner all by himself. Okay? Just not going to happen. Anytime you have to wear a robe and a mask, it means you want to hide, and you're only going to hide in a group. And so, it would just, but I guess this just kind of goes along with the whole lack of common sense that we're experiencing all around us these days. So co-owner Jose Cantrez says rumors are swirling on Facebook about the exact nature of the little vanilla cone, and the employees heard through word of mouth that potential customers have steered clear of the shop to avoid the character. Oh, my God. This reminds me of a story I did back this winter around last Christmas when a school banned candy canes because they could be sucked on and sharpened to a point and used as a weapon. So now, not only are we afraid of candy canes in this country, but we're afraid of ice cream cones. What's next? Ponies? Rainbows? I mean, what's next? What's teddy bears? Is that going to be the next thing they're going to scare us with? Or people are going to be scared of? So Lisa Diaz, who manages the store for Cantrez and co-owner Jesus Diaz, said an employee at the bank where she does business told her a coworker was so frightened by the white dollop patrolling the street corner that she called her husband crying and refused to drive through the intersection. I need a list of meds that person is on right now, because that cannot be a rational thinking human being. She was so frightened. She called her husband crying and refused to drive through the intersection because there was an ice cream cone on the corner. And you know what? Even if it was a KKK Grand Dragon with all the badges and a torch in his hand, it's one person. God. Is there any balls left anywhere on anybody out there? Anywhere? I mean, I'm sorry, Jules. I'm sorry. It's just, I can't.
That's okay.
I can't handle, it's true. It's true. Okay, here it is. Stop drinking out of plastics. Everybody with testicles, stop. Stop drinking out of plastics, okay? You are being feminized. And I don't even know what's happening to the women. They're usually more ballsy than men, but this chick can't drive through an intersection because there's a guy in her mind with a hood on. Holy crap. Yeah, but hey, put a NATO soldier on the corner and she'd feel safe. Yeah, that guy would rape you and slit your throat in a heartbeat. Did you guys know that the KKK was basically financed by the government? You know, it's a government operation.
I didn't know that.
You know, it's just silliness. Now, of course it is. Come on, look. If it wasn't, okay, it would have been cracked down on long ago. I mean, talk about spreading hate. If it wasn't, we'd have the black guy, in the White House maybe doing something about it. Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. He's probably not even a black guy. It's probably, I don't even know what it is. Anyway, so close up. The costume looks nothing like the white hooded Klan garb that evokes such strong emotions. Its fluffy white top, flecked with colored sprinkles, curls slightly at its peak. And it sits atop a brown waffle cone. Well, I can see how the average sheeple would be scared shitless, dropping their little sheeple pellets all around them. I mean, come on. But the costume tends to sag around the wearer's shoulders, and the waffle cone is mostly obscured by the sign the mascot holds in front of him. So the motorist who only gets a glance cruising past it at 40 can, and apparently does, it looks like a menacing Klansman. What's the sign say? That's what I want to know. Yeah. What's the sign say? I don't even know it. 2 for 1. What? I don't know. What? Did anybody read the sign? Did it? Did it say "kill ends" on it? I mean, no. I'm pretty sure it probably didn't. I'd be reading about it if it said that. Although this corner location has been a graveyard for eateries for over the years, mostly because getting into and out of the parking lot can be tricky, Lisa Diaz believes the costume is to blame for the rocky road the shop finds itself on. The clientele, she said, melted away. Melted away. Get it? Ice cream melted away. Right after the mascot hit the street. Indeed, just before lunch Monday, there wasn't a soul in the store except for a handful of employees. Through it all, the partners have managed to maintain their good humor. The little ice cream cone no longer beckons to passersby, and the owners have expanded their offerings, which already include, boar's head sandwiches, flan, and what they call the best Cuban sandwich in town to include Spanish cuisine. Okay. So they say, we're a friendly environment, family-oriented, Lisa Diaz says. We're not racist. We're very friendly, very religious. So there you go. Well, that's it. That's what's going on in the country. from my perspective here on my mountain in FEMA Region 1. Jules, as the show runs down to an end, do you have any? You want to add anything to it? Do you have anything that you want to say?
Well, in regards to your ice cream cone, I would think that should have been top news on CNN. Personally, isn't that how it goes?
Sure. I don't have CNN, and maybe it is.
It could be. I haven't watched it in a while.
And they would definitely take it and spin it on fear, and they probably show clips of KKK rallies as they were reporting on it. But I wanted to say that the whole racial thing is really, they ramp it up. A statement from Obama Barry, said, as he was talking to the Black Caucus this weekend, he said, "Put on your marching shoes, y'all. We got fighting to do." That sounds pretty racist to me, but I'm not a guy that points my finger and calls people racist. I'm just pointing it out at the people who call people racist and how they're acting racist themselves. That's all. Just pointing out the opposite. But anyways, everybody, that is the end of the show. Thanks for bearing with me and Jules on this completely unprepared program. I hope we all made it through it. Jules, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right. All right, everybody. We'll be back, Thursday, provided the world doesn't split in half tomorrow. We'll be back. But until then, I want you to take these words of wisdom to heart. Be safe and do things that make you happy, but stay awake and aware. And give me some feedback on Wall Street. Let's get down there. All right, good night.
Your choice is simple. Join us and live in peace, or pursue your present course and face obliteration. We shall be waiting for your answer. The decision rests with you.
There.